Alright, so hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Masai Gains on Cars. Today, I'm in my Land Cruiser Cygnus, my 2007 Land Cruiser. You guys know I love this vehicle to death. You know, one of my favorite vehicles in the world. And today, I'm just going to tell you some of the pleasures of owning a Land Cruiser. And all you people out there who actually own a Land Cruiser, I'm sure you'll be able to relate. And some of you who don't, I'm sure at some point you will be considering a Land Cruiser. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so first things first, what I like to do is just go through some of the stuff that makes me love this vehicle so much. And number one is these seats. You know, I can't speak enough about the 100 series Land Cruiser seats. They are so comfortable. They've got the bunched leather, and if you leather treat them, which is what I do just once every 2 weeks or so, they stay so fresh. You know, I mean, pretty much no wear whatsoever, and they stay so soft. The smell of the leather is just intoxicating. So number one, I would definitely say, is the comfort, the seats, and the way this interior sits up at you. You know, it's a gorgeous interior. So you get into this vehicle and you're in your own cocoon of luxury straight away, you know. Other things I love is the engine. You know, you got a big rumbling V8 up there, but it sounds so clean. It sounds so very clean, you know. This Toyota have mastered this 2UZ FE motor. And every time you start it up and it roars to life, you know, it just gives me pleasure straight here. Because this vehicle sounds so damn good. You feel so much confidence on the road. Honestly, you do. And we're not talking about some silly kind of crossover. This is a Land Cruiser. I've got a fat live axle at the back, and we can do some serious off-roading. I've got my low-range gearbox right over here. So I have used it a couple of times, and I've actually put this vehicle through its paces. We've gone through some serious terrain, and I've taken this vehicle absolutely stock, you know, running on the stock tires, 275/60 R18. I've got highway terrain tires, and it handled it like an absolute champ. And I'm running the AHC system as well. So let's start this baby up, go for a little ride, and take you through a few other things that I love about my Land Cruiser. So as you see, when I put this key in, we're going to get that telescopic steering wheel. The steering wheel will come to where my position is set. And we're ready to go.
Bluetooth. Waiting for.
So as you can hear that brake booster. The first thing you hear in the 100 series when you turn that key is the brake booster. That pump just runs, gives you the pressure that you need in the brake pedal, and then you're good to go. So those are some of the other aspects I also love about this vehicle. You know, it's a true machine. You can hear that pump running. You can hear the pump coming on every now and then if you're using the brakes too much. And this vehicle is almost like a living character to me. You know, you got a sound there, you got another pump running somewhere else, and you know, they're intermittent, and it's almost like the vehicle, you know, is its own sort of living being and just doing its thing. So that's what another aspect I love so much. Let's get this started and let's see if you can hear it. But there's such good sound insulation, you won't be able to hear the V8 as you should. But this is how it sounds when I start it every morning. So you heard that. It absolutely roars to life and it sounds fantastic. So straight away, why don't we set off? Let's get moving. Alright, let's just start from the basics. You know, let's start from the beginning. This is a Land Cruiser Cygnus. It's a 2007 Land Cruiser. It was the final version of, you know, the very renowned Land Cruiser 100 series. And everyone knows the 80 series as the kind of the rugged Land Cruiser. And what they did from 80 series to 100 series is they modernized the Land Cruiser once again. You know, they brought it from the Stone Ages into the modern era. And that's why you see such amazing bunched leather, you know, and all the other amenities that this vehicle has. It's simply stunning to drive. And along with that, for the first time, we got the V8 engine, you know. Before we had some diesels and some simple inline petrol engines, but finally what Toyota did with the Land Cruiser Cygnus is they gave us the 2UZ FE, an amazing V8 engine. Now in the 1999 Land Cruiser 100 series, this engine was only at 235 horsepower. It was the first version of this engine, and you didn't get all the power that you now get with this engine. Basically in 2006 and 2007 is where we got the revision of the 2UZ FE. And so that's what I'm sitting in right now, and that's one of the reasons I did go for this vehicle, the 2007. You know, I got very lucky to snag this vehicle up. Beautiful, well-maintained vehicle, and this one has 275 horsepower, and you know, even the torque, you really feel that difference from the previous 100 series. You know, I've driven the engine that had 235 horsepower. I've noticed the difference that this puts out. You know, when I step on the gas, when I put my foot on the gas, the vehicle roars. You know, it roars to life, and it really moves. Even though this is such a heavy vehicle, you know, the Land Cruiser 100 series is touted to be able to tow up to 8,500 pounds. 8,500 pounds is not little weight, that's for sure, you know. So this is a solid vehicle. This is a solid truck. It's not fair to call this a car. We've got the live axle in the rear. We've got proper towing capacity. We've got a proper frame underneath us, and that makes all the difference, of course. So why I love owning a Land Cruiser? Number one is that, you know, the fact that I know I can go anywhere. I'm sitting here in absolute confidence. You know, the other week I went to the national park. Some of those roads and some of those corrugations and some of those, you know, the ruts have gotten seriously bad with the rainy weather. And I went there with two other Land Cruiser 200 series. And you know, I was the 100 series, completely stock tires, stock rims, everything. One of the 200 series was on 20-inch rims and BF Goodrich, and the other was also on 20-inch rims. But I had no issues whatsoever. You know, I kept up, and we did absolutely fine. And I honestly recommend, if some of you do own Land Cruisers and all you do is take them to the mall and all you do is drive around the highway, I recommend you take your vehicle and you put it through its paces. You know, the only way you will be able to understand your vehicle and know what its actual limits are is if you take it to those limits. So I encourage everyone, if you got a rugged car, take it off-road. You know, use this grab handle. When I was in the national park, I realized why they have this grab handle over here, because when the ruts are really big and when the vehicle is, you know, almost lifting a tire, even though these cruisers have such good flex, I was using this the whole time just to stay stable, try to keep myself stable so I could get over those challenging terrains. And the vehicle handled like a champ, like an absolute champ. So I really recommend doing that. So that off-road prowess, it's really untouched with the Land Cruisers. And there are other SUVs that I sincerely like. You know, the Mercedes GLE is an SUV I find just stunning, absolutely stunning. But it cannot do the things that a cruiser does. You know, we commend the GLC for being beautiful. You know, for having the AMG having the huge V8 6.3 liters or whatever it is, and you know, an amazing exhaust note as well. But it can't go to the places that this baby is going to take you, and that is the difference, and that's why I love Land Cruisers so much. I would always go for the bigger engine spec. You know, I know in Dubai they do actually offer a 4-liter V6 Land Cruiser 200 series. You know, they offer a lower engine capacity, Here in Kenya, you're only going to find the V8 diesels and the V8 petrols. You know, that's what people go for, V8 diesel or V8 petrol, but you're not going to get any 4 liters. And we absolutely love this engine, and for the fact that it's also tried and tested. You know, this engine will take you a million miles if maintained well. Now, the other aspect I love so much about the Land Cruiser is the sense of calm that it gives me. You know, I can drive 500, I can drive 1,000 kilometers, and sincerely, I'm still in the same condition as I was when I started my trip. That's how comfortable this ride is. That's how I feel driving kilometer on kilometer, and that's what the Land Cruiser can give you. It truly is spectacular. Now, the ride quality is very luxurious, but you've got to remember you've got a live axle in the rear. It's gonna feel a bit sluggish when you're going over some big ruts. You'll feel the back end going over those ruts. You know, the front will be pretty smooth, but with that live axle, there's nothing you can change with that. So you will feel like a big dog, and you are a big dog, so that's all right. You know, you don't expect to feel like Rolls-Royce comfort, but genuinely on the highway, like right now, we're just gliding along, and it's so smooth. It's so smooth. And it's an absolute pleasure. Now, fuel mileage, you know, most people hate the fuel mileage, but if you've got a big V8 here that's naturally aspirated, you've got no turbos or any of that silly stuff, you're not going to expect the best fuel mileage. Yeah, you give up good fuel mileage for actually having that extreme dependability. You know, this engine block, it really is dependable. It's a rugged engine that's not even very sensitive to oil. You know, many people put even just normal oil, not even fully synthetic, and it handles pretty well. So that's an amazing thing. Now, I don't do that. I love using premium oil. I only go for Mobil 1. In my Land Cruiser I put 5W30, and in my Mercedes-Benz I put 0W40. And you know, I do believe in that oil. It really does clean the engine. I've seen the difference in engine performance when I've changed from just normal oil to that oil. And so I swear by that, and I swear by genuine parts. So, you know, there's so many other aspects to speak about the Land Cruiser, but I hope I've rounded up just a few bits of what I love so much. You know, and in future videos we'll go through more stuff on this vehicle, because I will be having another update. You know, I did the 1-year update on ownership, and I will be having another update on other aspects of this vehicle. But, you know, I still have the vehicle. I'm still in love with the vehicle. Every day or every other day that I drive it and put on some more kilometers, I love the vehicle more. And that's what they say about a vehicle as well. You know, you need to own it for a good amount of time to be able to give a decent review. You know, people who own a vehicle for 2 months or 4 months and are able to give a review on the vehicle, you don't really know a vehicle in its entirety unless you've owned it for a year or above. It's just how vehicles are. You know, vehicles are machines. You got parts that wear and tear, and you only truly understand this vehicle just like people. You know, you understand people after a couple of years. You understand every aspect of people and their different sides. So it's like a living being to me. I maintain it a lot, and it's out of pleasure. It's not that I'm doing it out of a chore. I enjoy leather cleaning it. I enjoy waxing the vehicle. I enjoy seeing that paint really shine. So it's just a quick video on, you know, why I still love this vehicle so much, and why I have it in my fleet. And, you know, in a country like Nairobi, you do get roads that are rough, and you do get areas where Land Cruisers are the only vehicles that really pass without an issue whatsoever. And this vehicle can take you to every corner that you want to go for, you know, if you've got the correct driving skill, and you need to have that confidence. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. I'm going to be doing more updates on my own vehicles, you know, maintenance updates and little items. And then of course we will have the usual car reviews. So if you enjoyed, hit like, subscribe, comment down below,